Well, do you know, does Google understand a cadence? So, say if you're posting one or two articles a week, and then you juice it up to five, or the opposite, if maybe you were doing five a week, but then you go several weeks without, like, does it follow your cadence at all and make decisions based on that?
So that's an excellent question. And I don't have a specific answer for that. However, there used to be a term that we called velocity, and you'd see velocity in different things like reviews, right? So here's for an example. If you were, and I just said this, one of my friends, been a lawyer forever, finally is starting to do some marketing, right? Everything was word of mouth, she's starting to do some marketing. And so what happened was her assistant, who I know well, messaged me and said, "Hey, Steve, would you mind leaving a review for Heidi's, on Heidi's Google business profile?" And at the same time, about 5 or 10 minutes earlier, Heidi, who is part of a group text message with me and some of my CrossFit friends, she's in that group as well. She put a message out about, "Hey, would you guys all go ahead and leave me a review?" And I said, "Hold on, okay? If you're going out right now and you're asking everybody that you know to leave you a review right now, you're going to get 40, 50 reviews. And then it's going to be silence. And you're going to go from having 0 reviews to 50 reviews to no more reviews." I said, "You are much better off having a cadence, having a velocity of slow and steady. Stays." And I know it's tough because like all of a sudden you're all in. This is our, this is for the day. We're going to get reviews today. And then there's crickets. Well, it looks manipulated because it is manipulated, right? It is exactly manipulated. If you go ahead and you put out 50 reviews because you asked everybody, and then there's none for the next 3 months, well, yeah, the cadence sucks. It doesn't look right. And so we've seen studies, Google said, yeah, well, it's got to be kind of slow and to kind of build up the pace. You want to have a consistency there. So do I know for a fact, does it make an impact? I don't, right? I don't know that anybody's ever been told yes. I don't know if the studies are out there, new or not, to do this, but it makes sense that if you are putting out stuff regularly, that Google's bot, the crawler, is going to come back more often. And we used to say, I mean, years ago, it's like if you're putting out one blog post or one new piece of content a week, right? Well, Google bot begins to kind of learn your cadence and isn't going to waste its time, in essence, its crawl capacity, coming back to your site every day. So they may come back initially every day, and then as they see nothing's changed, maybe they come back every other day. And now nothing's changed in a week. Maybe they come back next week. Nothing's changed in a month. Maybe they come back. So they kind of slow down a little bit. And this used to be the case. Again, I don't know, haven't seen anything about it recently or not, but it makes sense that if you are picking up the velocity, maintain that velocity, right? Try to maintain it. Now, yeah, you may have a busy season, and maybe, yeah, you got a big, gung-ho, and you go from posting once a week to posting 3 times a week for the next 2 months, and then you kind of, you lose your mojo, or you're running out of things to say, and now you're back at, once a week or something. So, yeah, there's going to be a little bit of that in there, but I think as long as you maintain or slowly grow that velocity, that cadence, that you'll be fine, and Google will not penalize you for that. So the only kind of penalties that it wasn't a penalty from the standpoint of you not getting ranked or getting deranked or devalued in rankings. It was really more about your crawl capabilities, like how often Google would crawl, how many pages they'd crawl a day, and how often they'd come back. Because let's face it, Google visits your website all the time, right? That Google bot comes to your website all of the damn time. How often it comes is going to be dependent upon how much stuff you're putting out. And sometimes you can tell, we used to be able to tell the engines to slow down, right? So like a site like CNN that's got hundreds of pages going out a day and constant changing going on, if they're coming up over and over 1,000, 2,000 times a day, they're kind of using up some of their bandwidth doing that, right? And they may not want that. So they used to tell them to slow down a little bit or only go to certain sections. And that's where having a good robust text file where you do and don't want them to go can help, where you can kind of say, hey, don't go checking my search pages. Don't go checking these other indexable pages. Forget my tags and my categories. They're just going to lead you back to the main page. I want you looking at the main pages. So that's why you have things like robust text control to control what they can and can't see and what they should or shouldn't visit, so that you can kind of have them focused on what's important. So I hope that kind of clears up that a little bit anyway.